Let's go. Oh, welcome to Searching for Wisdom Within the Madness. My name's Darren Bodecker, and today is Saturday here that I'm recording this on, and it's in the afternoon, and I'm alive. Aren't you alive today? Whenever you're watching this, and if you've gotten this far in watching it. All right, on today's show is someone named Shy. And she is the exact emotion I was when I was a kid. Her name is that emotion. Shy. So I'm going to talk with somebody who does movies and by nature shouldn't be shy. But she is shy. As a matter of fact, she is the shyest person I've ever even heard in my life. And today I'm going to meet her, so she'll be the shyest person on this planet that I have ever met. Who's does movies. Who's into and does movies. Movies, and shows. And she has a show. She has a show right now called South of Sanity. And it's on YouTube, and it's got short segments, but you can watch the whole thing. I would suggest just watching the half hour, because just get all the continuity in there, because don't watch the shorts. Just go the half hour one. Do the half hour. Come on, you can do it. You got time. You can take it all in. Take it in. Don't little segment it and be all short attention spanny on it and watch the little episodes. No, you get the first season. You got to get the whole one. It says 30 minutes. 30. That's all. It's a good 30 minutes. Boom. Watch the whole thing. And that's what I did. I did just before right now, like this morning, a few hours ago, all right, a couple hours ago, I watched the first one, then I watched 3 episodes into the second season. That's all it was up. And I watched them both ways. I watched them in shorts, and then I watched the long one, which was the shorts all connected. Anyways, I just took some of my medicine, Adderall, and I made one terrible mistake. It's legal here, so I decided to do a one-hitter of weed. And, gosh, dang it. It didn't, when I blew it out, I thought I packed it well, right? And then I blew it out the window into the sunshine. I didn't see any smoke, and I was like, did I even have it in my lungs? So then I packed a second one, and I said, I'll just pack this lightly, but I think a little harder than that. And then I really took a drag, and then I held it in for like a minute. And then I blew it out, and there was a little puff. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's the smoke. And then I came over here, and then, god dang it, within 2 minutes, I realized, man, what am I doing? I got a show to run here, and somebody I knew I'm talking to, whose name's Shy, and my shyness, I think, got me too high. I really had a big hit, that first one and the second one. Anyways, I'm lightweight, so here's some lemon water. Shy. I'm if this was a game, I'm the one who's really shy. I'm just talking to somebody who's named that randomly. I'm the real one. All right. Shy. Anyways, let's see how this goes. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to try and, okay, all right. I can't postpone the show. I should for 3 hours. And take a 5-mile jog. Okay, well, anyways, we didn't do that. And she's on the thing, and let's start the show. Oh, my God. Did I already start it? I think I did. Here we go. Right? Oh, man. Stop. What the hell? I already started the thing. Let's just get her on here. What are you doing, Darren? Admit. Okay, right. Here we go. I'm going to turn her sound way up. Shy? Hello?
Hi.
Oh, good. Yeah? Yes?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Shy.
It's so funny because, yeah, right? You haven't
I know
been.
I have a. Hang on one second.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um,
All right, I'm going to do this, and then that, and yeah,
okay.
okay. All right, how
All
do I
right.
look? Do I look okay?
You look great.
The tie. What about the tie? Is it too?
Is it purple?
So it's like this blue that has, well, I guess in this light it is purple, and it's got some pink in it, and it's very curly. Kind of a, I don't know. I don't know why I'm talking about my tie, but anyways.
It's fancy. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't spent over an hour this morning watching videos of me. So, so when I'm seeing your image here, there's a certain imprint that's hitting in my mind. I'm like, okay, here we go. And
I don't know about today. Today is a rough one.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, from my point of view, it's it's. I'm talking too much. Anyways, why did they name you Shy?
That's a family name. It was my great granddad's name.
The way it was spelled? The way it's spelled?
The way it's SHY. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
well, his name was Melvin Shy Driscoll, and I was supposed to be a boy. So when I was born, they didn't have a name for a girl, and ended up giving me that name because I was supposed to be David.
Oh, really? You were supposed to be David. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my dad was supposed to be a girl.
Yeah, I think the ultrasounds back then maybe weren't that great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, right. There's a lot of shadows. It's all black and white, it's all.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
much more advanced
terrible.
now.
Yeah, now they do 3D models that print out next to the picture, you can actually feel what
Yeah.
That's how complex it's gotten. But so what an interesting name. And so I wonder if the origin of the word shy has come, like it's been a descriptive. Like, I wonder how long, like, has it been hundreds of years? Was the word shy used to tell somebody who's timid and, wouldn't come out and, oh, look at Shy over there. Look at him in the Shire, or whatever.
Well, I do know I've been asked many times in LA when I bartended for years there. And people would ask me all the time if I was Jewish. I guess it's a Jewish boy's name. But it's spelled AI instead of Y.
Right. Therein lies
So
the
I'll be like,
difference.
I don't believe so, but could be a little bit.
Right.
We aren't sure if there was Jewish ancestry in our family. So we think we might have had some, and that's how the name came about. But it's not spelled the way that Jewish people spell.
Is it possible? Is it at all possible, maybe in the lost lore, the true lore of your name, that someone it was like very, very, very shy, like literally that emotion, and that they just called him Shy because that's what he was?
Maybe it was a nickname.
And then he maybe had a kid, and he heard the name so much, he goes, I'm going to name my kid Shy or something, or puts it in the middle name, and then starts putting it down. And then it becomes not that they're shy necessarily. It's just that the name stuck to one person who had that one emotion, that one ancestor, where it traversed the language of the English language, and it turned into a person's name, which was one of your ancestors. Is that possible?
It's very possible.
Sorry. I was like, yeah, okay. Let's just go with it. I'm sorry. I'm going to be did Billy tell you anything about me? Or am I a complete surprise?
No, yeah. You guys played together, right? In a band in Chicago?
If that's what he told you, then you probably really do have a real wrong image of me. Did he tell you I played a jester?
I don't really know what that is. But
You know those guys in the medieval fair? You know those ones with the curly shoes and they play for the king? Oh
yeah.
So one of those. So I have one of those guys. And I had this outrageous... See, I was in the... let me tell you this little story about what this was. So I was in the Six Flags, the theme park.
Yeah.
So I did an audition, and I had a bad back, actually. I was coming off a really bad back, and I was auditioning to be a stuntman on a live Western stunt show at Six Flags in Gurnee, Illinois.
Well, that sounds fun.
And I had an in because I've been doing comedy since like the 90s, and I've also went to Second City, did all that, and Improv Olympic, and I did all the classes, got all the T-shirts, and yay. But man, when I'm sorry. So I didn't get the audition at first, but then I had an in, and she was actually started sleeping with the main stunt guy, and basically that's how I got into the show. They first denied me, and then she's like literally within a day or two after that, I think, was sleeping with the main stunt guy because I already knew her. She was an in for me. So I guess the devil's bargain. I got into the Western stunt show, and so I played a bunch of roles. Like I had to really fall off things. I had to jump. I had to run in a cave.
Yeah, real stunts.
I had to get in a cave. My big thing was I was the general, the real bad general who was gonna, the damsel in distress, and I'm taking her away. And so, anyways, I run into a cave and I'm jump on this cart, and this cart has a very tight bungee cord, and it's all the way pulled back, and So when I get in this cart, there's a certain sound effect that happens, and then I hit the go button. This thing rockets like quickly out of this mine that I had just run in. And it's me on it, and I have to, it goes to a certain point, and I have to jump off before it stops, because if it stops, then I'll start flipping end over end like a biscuit or something, woo! And, break my neck a couple of times as I'm doing a cartwheel into the audience. So I have to jump off this cart, and I have to land onto this basic small trampoline. And then I'm supposed to, it's a small trampoline too. And I don't know if you've ever been on trampolines
you a
bunch.
gymnast or?
Not like that, man. Trampolines are an MFer if you jump on them at 30 miles an hour.
I had a trampoline when growing up. I flew off it a few times.
Right? Those things will fuck you up. Am I wrong about that? You can break your neck. You can see somebody go on a trampoline and then be seeing them in a grave the next minute. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh boy. Yeah,
I agree with that. But if I wouldn't have had my trampoline, I'd have been very sad.
No, I get it. I get that. I'm just saying that it's dangerous, potentially. So I thought it was a trampoline, but I didn't never think that.
Yeah.
So I'm hitting this thing doing 25... I'm hitting a trampoline doing 25 fucking miles an hour.
Oh my God.
Then I'm supposed to, like a swan, bend my legs slightly and then spring forth and do a giant roundhouse flip and land perfectly on my back in the sawdust. As an explosion of flame has bursted out of the cave as I just left it on this bungee cord that was tight as F. And flip over, and man, I jacked my ankle so fucking bad. I would hit, and then I would jank my ankle. This was usually what would happen. I'd jank because I could never place them quite right because I'm wearing cowboy boots. I'm 6'6". I don't wear cowboy boots. Anyways, I would hit this thing. It would jack my leg up so much. I wouldn't do a flip proper. I would do a flip as if somebody hit and broke their ankle and then was trying to compensate and land in some way. So I would flip, and I would like come halfway down on my head with my leg like a cartoon. I'd be all crooked, crocked in the air. Sometimes I wouldn't flip, and I'd just dive into because oh my God, dude, it was terrible. I was being a stuntman.
Yeah, it sounds pretty scary.
Well, anyways, I'm sorry to get on that story, but so we had the costume designer there, and he was doing as he was doing our costumes for the Western Stunt Show, he'd be sewing everything, but he was also creating. And he decided to create this a fucking elaborate jester's outfit, like 2 horns that come out like 4 feet out on the sides with tassels on them, gold lattice all over it, like fluffy old curtains that are, dark red with other colors, and no bells or anything, but completely puffy, like from the medieval fair, but a rich kingdom. You know what I mean? Like the richest looking
Do you have pictures
jester.
of that?
Oh yeah, I do. Actually, the picture on the front of the site is the actual picture of me. I don't know if I could pull that off by showing you. I'm not so tech savvy, as you can see by my minute lateness. Sorry for talking so much because I'm very excited, but I will let you talk, I promise, because I know you do it for a living. So, all right.
I don't do stunts for a living.
No, not that. Just talking. So I don't want to overwhelm you right off the bat because I know you don't know me. What the hell was What was the point of that story?
Oh, you were telling me that you were a jester.
Right. Oh, right. So anyways, I'd wear that outfit, that outrageous outfit during their band. And their band was like a parody band, but an aggressive parody band. Because you know Brian Trainum by chance? Mm-hmm. You know Brian Now, I knew Brian Trainum in his prime, like his most animal prime. That's when I knew him. Ooh. And so he was a guy in this band called Chick Hockey. And he would just talk about crazy dumb stuff on stage, but comedy. He'd be doing stand-up comedy, and Billy next to him would be pretty much the straight man, but the right on, like the Ed McMahon of the group. Whenever Chick Hockey said, he would, he'd be in it and then da 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 and play the guitar right to what he was doing. What I did was I did interpretive theater next to them of whatever he was talking about. So if he's talking about anal sex in some way, I am in some way doing a theatrical, like, oh no, like some kind of weird
So you're on the stage at the same time with them. Okay.
So I was not in there too long, and the reason was I was too big, and Brian really wanted to be the star of the show, and I pulled too much of the attention. Like, everybody's eyes were on me, because I had like a jar, and then I have a mole, and then a puppet that would come out, and I'd scold it, and it would be other people would forget what was going on, and just be watching me. They might have been my backup band for just interpretive. Yeah, so I got pretty bad. I was basically fired. Yeah, I just never got called anymore. I was too good. Have you ever had that problem where you're just too good and they never called you? Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, I had that outfit. Sorry to have gone down that road with you. I know you did not expect this. Oh, God damn it, I'm talking too much. Okay.
No, it's great. I got an image of the band other than just that name.
Right. So, it was Chick Hockey. Tell them about our New York times. Then you could tell them the New York stories. Shy. So what made me so nervous speaking to you? Because you are that thing that I am. Your name is that thing that I am.
You're Shy?
That thing, all my, I believe now that I've had a kid and I've seen other kids, you're either born with it or you're not. I mean, there's a lot of nurture involved in making people shy, true. But also there's a certain just nature. So for people who are shy, it's like, I just can't, it's not like something I can snap out of, Being
I feel
shy.
like, too, the older you get, or the older I've gotten, it makes you a little bit more aware than you used to be. So whereas I don't feel like I was shy at all growing up, at all, in the least bit. Now sometimes I go out, or if we're not during COVID, but before that, go out, and then I'm like, I don't really know what to say here, or something like that. Like, you think more. I feel like the older you get, it's almost like
really?
Stunts or gymnastics. Like, when you're a kid, you don't think much about going and flipping and you could break your neck. But when you're an adult and you're doing that, then you're like, ooh, this might not be a good thing to do.
Right. In a kind of a way, what you're talking about is you're getting. I'm going to use a controversial word here, but you're getting woke to a certain aspect that you weren't aware of before. So instead of being ignorant of something, ignorant of it, you are now processing it. You're thinking critically. You're now becoming wise. That's how wisdom works. The wisdom factory now is
questions, whereas before, no.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what can happen is you can get into that and then overdo it. So then you hyper focus on now all the time thinking too much about what. And you're breaking it into minute little pieces because that's basically what the internet does with images and sounds and quick bites and little teeny pieces and real fast. One sentence makes you angry. One sentence makes you glad. One sentence outraged. One sentence. And yeah, that's, well, I just want to say that sucks. It sucks.
Well, I mean,
we're
they
moving
do say
so fast.
like when I was starting, which I need to get back to because I feel like I was in the best mind frame when I was meditating a lot. But they say when you start asking yourself questions is when it's a good thing. But I'm like, is it really though? I'm not so sure.
Well, here's where the way you stated it comes into play. For me, the way I think of it, when you do it, overdo it. In other words, you got to get good at it so you just make the right decision fast. And if you're going the other way where you're splitting it up too much, then that's a part of the insanity. So you want to somehow to figure that out. Now, if you used meditation, which also you eat right, and also then you sleep right, and then also you exercise properly. So if you're doing all that, then this can be working at top-notch speed because it's not focused on other.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to get our fuel? Because it's all chemicals, basically. It's basically all our chemicals are just, that's how they're seeing the world. That's how they take it in and light up different parts of people's brains. One person's brain, whoa. Another person's brain, yee. And whoa and yee don't get along very well.
It's too much going on.
Yeah. And your show's kind of more on the yee. And then everybody else like, whoa. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of that, yeah. There's that kind of thing going on. And everybody's different. Everybody has different tastes. Even with drugs specifically, like you could say, oh, pot's great, everybody should do it. But there are some people that should never smoke that stuff. They get paranoid, their heads go out, so they shouldn't hit some chemically wrong.
I definitely think that marijuana is great for your body and whatnot if you can tolerate it.
Right.
And sometimes people's brain chemistries don't work with it.
No, exactly.
So I agree with that.
Now, like right this minute, just as a little confession, so I watch your show and then I'm thinking, oh my God, okay, I want to, I want to be a little more professional, so to speak, because we are new people, whatever. But then I also want to be me.
Say whatever you think.
Right.
Say whatever you're thinking.
So then well, anyways, I have ADD, so I took half my Adderall. And funny little side fact, meth and Adderall, same chemical formula. Just
yeah,
a little,
it can be.
Yeah, one's a little stronger than the other one.
And if you don't need Adderall, then it definitely has that effect.
Yeah. I got diagnosed by a doctor 5 years ago. It's a mind blower. I had a doctor
give me that as well, and I think it worked pretty well for me. It's just it hurt my stomach. I was nauseous.
I got
all
you.
the time.
So do you think you have ADHD a little bit?
Well, he said you have ADD for sure. And you have been struggling with it all through college, all through high school, and you just make things so difficult for yourself.
He made you took a test, right?
Yeah.
Like a test. And you out of 10, you got like 9 of them. You're like, holy shit. I got 10 out of 10.
I don't know. I just kind of think almost everybody has ADD. Like
in one way or another, yes.
Yeah, I do. And my brother has definite ADHD, just all over the chart, you know.
Right.
And I never really had the H part, so I just was
The way the H works is it is in everybody, but it manifests differently. So some people it's physical and they might be twitchy or just like let's go all the time. But other ones are they're thinking of things and they think about it too much and they should just think about the one thing and get right to it. Do you know what I mean?
That's me for sure.
So that's where your ADD can be effing with you when you need to make a wise decision. And you might be going, I got 10 wise decisions. Which wise decision should I take? And you have to meditate on it and just go, I need to follow my heart, head, and, you know, I got to feel the vibe and then go that way. And just be true to yourself is what you really need. Because once you start lying to yourself, then you can pick any wisdom, but that could be fucking bad wisdom. You know, there is bad wisdom that is not good in the long term type thinking.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to get deep with you, but
No. It's
silly.
I think that things like this should be discussed in general, like, and shouldn't have like a bad name to them if you know, if you had to go to rehab or you have ADD or you have, you know, all these little things, nuances and whatnot, that people's brain chemicals are. I think that it should be talked about in a more open manner, like bipolar or
True.
these things that happen. But it's just my thoughts.
Since we brought this up, and this pops in my head, and the way I usually go with these shows is I kind of go with kind of thought patterns or what's interesting or whatever. But before so I was watching your show, and my specific skill is as a writer. I was in a group called Ectomorph. We were a sketch comedy act. So it's sort of like Blue Man Group, but with actual sketches and talking. So not some blue, but a man group. So it was three of us, and we did comedy downtown at the Improv, like to audiences of 500 people on like a Saturday night, like every other weekend, just for like a year. Just, and so my writing thing is, I found out that I take premises or ideas, and then my thing is I inject. I kind of figure out the formula. What is going to make this weird thing actually funny? You know what I mean? So that was my strength in writing. I don't know why I'm bringing this up. I apologize. What I want to say is the idea that I was wondering, since you're writing the show, you wrote the first season with, I now have it here. I wrote stuff
Anna.
See, I figured you'd know better than me looking at it. God dang it. You're good. All right. So anyways, you'd have a writing power. So you're both writing now.
I wrote with Jason.
In any of the character development, and I know it's based on things and people, so it's easy to just like, I don't even have to think about why. But do you ever assign or some way put in a thing like one of them has ADD, so they might do this thing that seems out of the ordinary and create this kind of situation? Yeah. Or one of them could be bipolar, and we don't know why he's just happy it's seeming here, and then what the hell? Why is it? He's a different guy, or whatever, or things like. Do you ever put any of that to like a character in a kind of conscious way, but put it in a subconscious way, possibly?
Yeah, where it's very underlying.
Right.
And so I'm not sure. Sometimes I'm not sure if people actually can see it or not.
Right. No.
Where they go, how did this happen? Like we're in the middle of the edit right now for the second season.
Right. Yeah, I did.
And,
I saw the third one. Yes.
Jason White was actually he helps me with the story and the co-writing and whatnot in the second season, and it's just like there was a scene where he goes, this is a very serious scene, and then he pops off like this weird raunchy joke. It doesn't. Why would he say that during this moment? And
that
I was
could
like,
be shyness.
because that's who he is.
Right.
Like that's his character. That's who he. Well, I don't know if it makes sense. I was like, well, it makes sense to me. So you know, and I could see it going both ways, where people say like, oh gosh, like this doesn't make any sense that he would do this at this moment in time. It's very serious subject matter. Um, but if they watch the show and they pay attention to the characters, then
Right.
they would understand that that's exactly who that is. ADD, no compassion, really,
Right.
but
There's an
loyal to the
aspect it could
family.
be.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of times I think it's like people are like freight trains, and so they're so about themselves when they're ADD, when they're young. But I think as they get older and they start realizing, getting that wisdom started in their head and realizing who they are, then it manifests itself in different ways.
Mm.
And they are judged what they used to be, but they aren't judged by how they are now because it just shifts into different areas. And once again, going to the mind thing, it can all just be right here and render the person with ADD very still seeming. You know what I mean? I'm kind of in that kind of thing. Like there's this kind of sameness, especially now with a pandemic that's literally just like, it's like, this shit's real. You know what I mean? This ain't the flu. Whatever they're saying. This ain't a bad
This
cold.
is awful.
This is
Yeah.
terrible. I don't ever see the thing that really drives me is the personal responsibility part, because I do not that I believe in God or anything, but I do not want to be responsible in any way that possibly if I would have done something different, they would have lived. You know what I mean? Like just if so I would never want to catch. So I'm going to do everything that I, within reason. Let's not be,
Right.
we don't need to be too nutty. We can take it off every once in a while and breathe air. But
Right.
other than that, you know what I mean? Just I'm trying. So yeah, that just keeps me, that kind of thing in my head, that kind of empathy, like that. I don't want to be responsible for that possibly happen.
I agree with you. Like I don't. It would be the worst thing in the world if you go out and you get it, and then you bring it
Right.
home to your family, and they all get it.
Yeah. And what's fucked up about the shit? You know what's really fucked up about it? It's 2 days that you're giving it to people and you have no clue.
It could be more.
But I'm just saying that on average, everybody gets 2 days of basically everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some that have it instantly, but other people, 2 days. And then some, what's really insidious, and it might be more of the people, show no signs.
Yeah.
And they're giving it out for a week or plus 14 days, whatever. They're maximizing everything. And they don't know. You can't be holding them responsible and you throw them in jail for that. No, you just
Well, if
murdered
they're out
everyone.
there
You're like
with-
a...
I don't know. I mean, in a way, it's almost like, come on, if you don't know if you're sick and you could be asymptomatic, like just wear a mask. But some people just do not agree with that, and something like it's taking their rights away.
It's...
And I don't follow that way of thinking at all. I think you're trying to help other people by, wearing a mask yourself.
Right. I mean, it's tough to really say this, but there is one group of humans out there that is really true about the sanctity of life in a respect of just overallness.
Mm-hmm.
Like one group is, thinking about it, it's complicated. It comes in many colors and shapes and sizes and orientations and genders and all that stuff. But there is one group of people, or politically and all out there, that is basically on the train of humanity, like real human to human stuff. And then there is one side that is purposely being blind to it. It's being unpurposely done, but
Well,
they're also
I think
being
too, they've
blind
made
to
it.
it.
They've made it very political, and if they would have just left that out of it, I think that we would be doing far better than we are now, because it's like the right versus left and whatnot, and if you see someone wearing a mask, you automatically think, "Oh, Democrat." You know what I mean? In a way, it could come off like that. But I have family.
When I
Even in
see
the
somebody
show,
when I see them in a
Yeah.
mask, I think, "Oh, one of me." I don't even think Democrat anymore. I just think, I don't care if they're, KKK member, but if they're wearing a mask, you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're paying attention and you want to
just want to live in this world.
I mean, even in the show, we discuss like very underlying differences in the family being split, like with one belief and the other. And,
right.
And we do it in a very comedic, raunchy way because that's my way of thinking. But
because it's a rabbit hole. That's crazy.
Very, very much so. But if you have a family who sees, one person sees one way and the other person sees another, at least you talk about it and discuss, and you may not agree, but you understand where that person might be coming from.
Yeah.
And Lacey obviously in the show, is more open-minded and more on it. Well, she's definitely more open to new things, and whereas the family is still very conservative. So, and that shows off as well. Like
now, this show, from what I hear, is based on some real shit.
Yeah.
And based on that real shit, that's some real shit, right? And that's some real shit going in real life that is real shit that is being touched at. There's a hint of, there might be an essence of, there might be a strong sense of this dynamic that's going on, a cultural dynamic, a mind think dynamic, a kind of an argument in limbo, but every once in a while lightning strikes, and then that's about it. Nothing big, no storms don't fight each other or nothing.
And it deals with a big issue in the rural areas of the South that just get ignored.
Poverty, lack of resources like electrical, like all the things people would need. Am I wrong about these things?
Well, no, those are two important things. There's also
lack of
just
diversity.
The drug epidemic.
Oh, damn it! I was gonna get that. I would have got there. All right, you're good. You're good, Shy. You've lived it and you know it, and I'm trying to explain it. Typical white guy I am. All right, well, anyways. That's awesome. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I have a half sister as well that she was like, "How are you writing a comedy about your family?"
Oh.
I mean, because she didn't grow up with us. She has a different mom, but she asked me the question, like, I don't understand how it's a comedy. And I said, oh, well, that's the way I get through life. I turn things that maybe would be the worst thing possible for someone, and I find the humor in it.
Speaking of lightning, I know where your politics lie, or like I just got a sense of them through Facebook. And I know that what you're talking about, where those politics lie, is just a sense of being a kind of I don't know, a kind of sense of a thing, right? Mm-hmm. And, oh my God. So, shit, my big idea now, I'm flying out of my head. All right, what about this thought? It's kind of deep too. That you don't have that mindset. So in other words, if you would have had that mindset that was home, the one mindset that you soaked in all through your first 7 years when your brain was just soaking in everything and you were believing all words said, all things done, all things seen, heard, everything, all the weirdness, everything, your template. And then from there, you grow out and you spew out your template. Everything you soaked up, that you feel, everything that burns you emotionally and keeps you warm at night is all just electric inside you, given to you by the first 7 years of your experience. But you got out of that mindset because that mindset clearly is in one other area, specifically in that region of the, we'll say, planet. And reason specifically of the planet Earth is the one I'm talking about, and not just a random planet. It was Earth. I don't know. It's not a test, but anyways. gave you the I'm going to go and say once again, wisdom to be able to turn and see it as a comedy, whereas her mindset might be with them and they don't see funny in it because the world is just, this is what is funny about, so I left my tampon in the shower and Dad's got to bring it up at dinner. You know what I mean? It's just, what was funny about it? That wasn't funny. I cried for 2 days. Everybody pointed at me. Even the dog was nuzzling.
Well, that particular thing was just more relatable because it freaking happened.
But what I'm saying is that on the deep level, that you're able to see it from a different place mentally. And so therefore, seeing it from that different place gives you the ability to put the creativity into it, to pull out what is humorous, what is that slight difference. So give me that shade of color that I didn't know was shimmering there, and let me really look at. Was that magenta? That emotion that they did in that show. So you got all kinds of stuff like that.
I'll tell you, I've been in therapy on and off like my whole life, right?
Oh.
And I learned through that process, which is great. Therapy's a great thing, I think, if you really want to talk about things.
If it's the right person, honestly.
If you get a right person. I have had horrible experiences.
Yeah, they can retro fuck you. You can have PTSD coming out of there. They're like, I didn't realize I was in World War I, and I took every bullet. I forgot that memory. Thanks, Doc. Yeah. I'll just remember that forever, you know.
But if you just talk to someone who is not judgmental, and almost like more of a life coach situation seems to be a good thing, because they're not judgmental and they're just talking to you and saying, well, maybe this, maybe that. But I learned through that process that I was very disassociated growing up. Like, I looked at things from the outside.
So you got put back together by other people in a way. You used other human beings, actually assembled you to kind of focus yourself. You know what I'm saying? To give you enough focus that you could actually do a show, then go through a major life crisis and still do a show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You are,
and I
like,
think that
you are, as far as human being, it's like you're way up, you know, I'm not tall enough to reach. I'm only 6'6".
Oh, that's great.
I'm just saying, that's
really
nice, huge, dude. Huge. You are like you know what I'm saying? If anybody has a superhero personal story, you got that. You're going through that now. A superhero story, because there's so many elements to it. Just the element that you're actually writing, directing, producing. You're sleeping with the sound guy. You're
that's a lot of things right there.
Exactly. But just doing those things alone and having the confidence enough, the not shyness enough, that there would be a crew, there would be multiple actors and actresses, and food, locations, times, equipment, action, you know, that would be happening. Words would be written, thoughts would be spilled, cried, tears on the page, kind of, oh God, this one's a personal one, everybody. Whew, we got a lot of tears on this page right here. She's been crying through this dialogue. I guess I got page 1. Nope, soaked through to everybody. Oh boy, this is gonna be a tearjerker. You know, something. But you do that is a cool power, by the way, to be able to make a show go emotionally any way you want it to.
Yeah.
Although if taking your shows real, so like, in other words, if I was a full out stalker, say I was a stalker fan, and I'm like, oh God, I see your show so many times, I saw it all so many times. Maybe that's the worst stalker ever. I saw it so many times. It's more like another Joker audition. Anyways, aside from that, I'm just losing my thoughts again. Sorry. I'm very overwhelmed by Shy, that I speak to the embodiment of the emotion that I've been fighting for all these years. My nemesis, you are in No, just kidding. Just the name. Just the name. All right. The fact that you're doing that, you're doing things that I think millions of people, just that part is what millions of people throughout the planet would love secretly to do. It'd be like one of those secret, I'd love to be, writer, director, producer of my own show that was popular with people, or whatever, or just be an actor, or just be a writer, or just be a director, or just have locations and have imagination and being able to really take what is inside your head and put it out and then make it live action. Like you're doing that. At least half of your brain is with your partner. And that gets me to this one thing here. When you had a female partner, and then in the second season you have a male partner as a writer. Mm-hmm. All right. Is there, aside from just human beings, different cultures and whatever, was there any kind of I'll just be blunt, more of a testosterone-fueled view of the writing? Was there more testosterone? In other words, it was like, he's got to have a football in his hand. Why would he be out there? Mm-hmm. Like, no, it's he's going to give her flowers. What? No, a football. Give her a football signed by, or whatever. But was there any difference like that?
There was not, no. It might have been more, I could say like the comedy aspect maybe in my first co-writer's viewpoint was almost a little slapsticky. And a lot of the scenes we ended up having to cut out because I was like, it just doesn't mesh.
Doesn't fit the tone. You're like you're putting in a heavy metal riff inside in the middle of a slide bar solo. No, that's not gonna.
Yeah, and she's great. She's a very intellectual person. Mm-hmm. She just had a different sense of comedy or sense of tone than I did. And then the way that it was acted when the actors got on set, and a lot of times they just can't help it, that they have to go towards the funny all the time. And I'm like, no.
Right, because sometimes you can airplane it and make the serious the funny. Yeah. And
I'm like, this character is not funny.
Yes, that is yes.
And that character, some of them got a little slapstick and fall down and funny, and I was just like, that just doesn't
right.
work.
Oh yeah, because now as a person who's watched it recently, and I'm trying to measure things into it, what goes in behind it. As you say that, I get where you're going. In other words, it puts it in a clearer focus for me, what I see of your show in my head and why, and what choices are, because everything's a choice. My problem is I almost do too many punchlines. So my madness is that I do have that wisdom that I should just log on to and do, and that being a funny premise and punchline and just go with that. Mm-hmm. But my problem is I'll cycle through too many, like, well, that punchline, but then I could do this, and then I could do that punchline and that punchline. And if I change the premise to this, and then change it to that, and then I can do this punchline and that, and then all of a sudden I'm in this endless cycle of, I'm writing too many things. I need to stop and just go one.
You have to tell yourself you could use that later.
There's got to be.
Yeah, that's great, but I'm going to use that later.
You figure out a life hack. I think it goes back to the original thing, meditation. So you're being in touch with your mind, eating right, exercise, and all that. So the triple thing for your temple, and then your mind's chemistry can do at maximum, and then you can focus it. The problem with today, too many distractions. But the cool thing is you're a creator, and so you need to observe. So you need to put down your phone, you need to put down things, and you need to look at the world, or turn your phone around and film the world as you go through it, because there's so many cool, funny things that are happening that they don't even know is funny because it's on a whole other level. So it's all around us.
Right.
It's just in different ways. And you're focusing on basically some real shit that you went through.
Yeah. And I do think in a way that's how my detachment or dissociation helped me, because I was able to look at it from an angle where I wasn't so close to it. But I could remember it
Right.
specifically, like exactly how it happened when it happened or whatever. So
Right.
in,
Because you
in
are
life,
Lacey.
it's probably not very good. Be disassociated.
No,
and
I
try
argue
to
that you
ground
need to be
myself.
more observant of life because you are creating. So therefore, life is the colors off the paintboard that you put into your painting. And that's life.
Right.
And so you have to be aware of it more. You can't get lost in fucking Facebook for 10 hours. If you're doing that, bad girl.
God.
You can't get lost on YouTube for like 4 hours a day. Bad. You can't be lost on the news cycle and podcast by Rachel Maddow. And I got to listen to the morning show. And what about Al Franken? What's he going to say? You can't overdo it that way either because you're distracting from what you need to do. And you, right in the middle of doing that thing that you should be doing, and that awesomeness in your brain is firing on all levels. You're taking in information, you're writing things down, you're directing, you're doing math, you're doing geometry, you're painting, you're running, you're doing all like your brain is on full. You're maxing your brain power. Like if they say we only use 10%, you're using like at least 14% of your brain. Whatever that, you're using at least 14.
Instead of 9, you're using 11.
You goddamn it, you're up to 11. Well, all of us are stuck at 8 right now. I'd say with this COVID stuff, everybody's at like a 4. Everybody's at a 4.
I had a bad day yesterday. I was really depressed. And I was
4.
like, what is going on? And I couldn't get out of it.
You got it. That's where meditation comes in. And if you recognize that as it goes on and you feel that emotion, you quickly assign it with your smart brain that's wise, that you use, and you're not afraid to think ahead and think in the many colors of the spectrum, then you're good to go, girl. You're good to go. You're going to make that one decision that's going to make that good thing. And you're firing all those cylinders. And then if they say there's a God, gives you that desert of snakes before ye to get to the other side, and woe, and what mountains you must climb, and only a jug of lambskin water will you carry for 40 miles, and then the great eagle will lift you, and you will go over the seas, and and you'll be like, I have a show to do. We're scheduled next week. I don't have time with the eagle and the flying. This is going to be a long time. This is a real eagle, right? Takes him like years. So that is laid upon thee. I'm sorry to get deep, but how does it manifest itself? In other words, what is the ding, ding, hey, something's not clicking today? Or was it just you were a good person who has insurance and you just do what your insurance, and then all of a sudden, hey, what? Was it that?
Are you talking about yesterday? Or
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I confess part of my being shy and coming here, so I decided to smoke some weed. I took a really big hit, and then I blew it out the window, and the sun was shining, and you can't see smoke when you blow out into the sunlight. It's weird how that works. Anyways, so then I was like, oh, God dang it. I didn't even pack this properly. So then I packed it again, even better. And I said, just take it easy. And then I did a hit, and then I held it in for about a minute, like till I was about to red face it. And then I blew it out the window. And there was some smoke in that one. I could see it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just fucked myself up a little bit more than I should have, because I am a lightweight. When I did bring that up earlier, that was me projecting, saying, that I'm the lightweight that...
Well, I mean, marijuana in general, I typically, it gives me like social anxiety a little bit. And so I tend to just eat some gummies at night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can use it strategically. Yeah, true. I guess if you put it like that, marijuana could be good for everybody for a specific thing or time or moment in some part of the day. Helps people eat, helps people relax, helps people sleep, helps people stop itching, I guess. Helps people talk, not be shy a little bit.
And CBD helps with pain.
Right? So I took 2 hits so that I wouldn't be shy. Is that at all
See,
evidence?
I mean, the way that it works for you would be opposite for me. So I, I'd be like, oh, did a squirrel just jump on your back? But,
Right. No.
like I've said like some crazy things when I smoke just regular THC or something, sativa especially. But
I'm very disciplined in only using marijuana when I'm going to be creative in some form.
okay.
And that creativity has to be with specifically comedy in some sense, like funny, find the funny part. What's humorous about maybe this, even though it may be dark, can it be laughed at? Because that's if I was to counterbalance fear, it would be laughter. If you could, because it's like a booming thing. Fear is just shivery eyes darting around, whereas laughter is a sound that says, "Hey, man, we're cool. Everything, yeah. I'm a lion and I'm living, and it's funny. Ha ha ha. You know, it gets your heart going. It's an energy. It's an emotional kind of an orgasming thing in a way.
And maybe I've heard people writing on marijuana and whatnot, but when I've done it, I just stare blankly. Like,
right. No.
I'm not really.
I trained myself, girl.
Strand.
I trained myself because the first time I did it, I was a couple of years there where if I smoked pot, I would be real sleepy. And what I did was I trained myself for 2 months. I would just start smoking pot at night and going to bed. And then when I went to a party, I smoke a fucking monster hit, and basically an hour in, I'm looking, where's your bedroom, dude? And then people are like fucking like, oh. I'm trying to find a place to sleep. Because I'm so tired for this party. I'm so high. I'm gonna find this puppy dog and just lab next to you. So cute. So I purposely trained myself to be creative. So I only do it. That's why I'm so disciplined, because I only do it in these moments. Like there was a time when I actually used pot to just work out. So every day I would use it just as I'm going to work out, and then go to the gym and just like focus like a motherfucker on some bench presses.
Yeah, I've had people tell me that too. And I remember I tried that, and then I got in my pool to do laps, and I just stood there.
Well, you're one of those. Yeah, was it sure it wasn't that deer in headlights weed? You got to watch out for that one. Well, if you take the deer in headlights, forget that. You should do the Hulk one. There's one called Green Hulk. That one that would be much better for you.
Yeah, I basically was just like, how long did I just stand there?
Yeah, like
30 minutes.
Yeah, you took some coma weed. You're not supposed to take that, especially in such big hits. It's coma weed, girl. You're gonna knock you out. Oh yeah, whatever. Give it.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm in a coma. You get one of those comas where you can hear everything, but you just can't speak.
Yeah.
Why is she standing there? She
or
won't say
like
anything.
time passes. Like for me, I've had it where it'll.
Oh
time will
yeah,
pass and,
time
and
traveler
I'll
weed.
see myself old.
Oh shit.
And
That's
I'm like,
that's time traveler horror weed.
Yeah, and then I come back to where I
no.
am, and I'm like, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. This is all a mistake. And it lasts. They say that it lasts because I get real quiet, and then I'm just like this, and it lasts for maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
Wow.
But it's awful. It's awful.
Gee whiz.
But
I wonder.
I've done it a few times because I just want to see if there's something I can write about from it.
Also, even you doing it without be purposefully thinking about it, in other words, using the wisdom from the moment to gather whatever information, see the funny or story within. Mm-hmm. But other than that, when it happened naturally, I wonder if in some subconscious way, being a smart person, you have a little deeper thought that your subconscious is popping up and going, look at this. This is going to happen. You need to get real about the now. You need to be saving money. You need to be, purposeful and focused. You need to get your goals down. You have to get through the trials of this. You've got to see the other side. You've got to make a ladder that goes higher and higher, or at least gets to there. and I'm still alive. You know what I mean? Just that I just need to survive to there. And what do I need to do while I'm in the now? Because the now is the prettiest person both of us or all people on the earth are going to be in that moment. You know what I mean? It's beyond every day and then years, and who knows how long this freaking thing's going to go. 3 freaking years. Trump's going to ruin it somehow. He's going to put out some crazy shit. It's like Kool-Aid. Like, oh, it's so blue. Yeah, it goes right in there, right? Does that taste like blueberries?
Yeah.
You know, it's some shit like that. And then everybody's going to be in that thing we call 2 different chemicals on different sides of the brain evoking that anger. There's one set that is just going to go, no. And the whole math of the reality of the problem is if you have a whole segment that goes no, then it carries on. It carries on throughout. But if you have the whole society, in this case, the pandemic sense, saying yes, all masks, you cut it, it's there, but you keep it tamped. It's always going to be there, and even as small as a cockroach. But you keep it tamped and you keep your eyes out for it. That could happen if our society was even thinked. But the problem is that thing we call the politics, which is basically the lies and the twisting of reality to make it a different shade or shape or color. It's like looking in the funhouse mirror of like information and like, oh, I'm being fed this, and then they keep feeding it to you until your view of the world is the funhouse mirror. You see fat and squatty things, and there's some really tall mirrored people. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally or just in the way you're segmenting each person, because our nature is a thing that we can't escape. Like, we are a being that came out of tribalness, a being that came out of, we need to stay safe, we need to fight off danger, we came from that, and that's still deep in the middle part of our brain. So then everything is, I'm sorry, I'm getting so deep with that. Anyways, did I say I did 2 hits? Okay. Lightweight? Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, you're on a
I
parallel universe
apologize.
right now.
I apologize. I've gone too deep and thought, wow, I got it.
No, it's all good stuff.
Shy? Oh, man. If I was named Shy, what if I was named Shy and I was shy?
I think maybe that name makes you not shy.
You know, I
mean,
think it
like,
would give me some kind of weird confidence. I don't know how it manifests itself because I was a shy kid through nature.
Yeah, but if you had that name, people, are you shy? And then ultimately
Right.
you'd be like, no.
Right. Or I'd have to own it. You know what I mean? Like, admit it. Like a comedian would just admit that they're shy and then show all the other ways that they are shy and make them all jokes. That's what the comedy mind is. That's where my head goes towards that. That's what got me out of being bullied, because I was shy. So I used my humor to strategically, especially in the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grades where I was perfecting my craft. And I would make the bully laugh first. Any new school that I went to, and we moved a lot every year. Like, I wet the bed till I was 14 fucking years old. 14. Like, I look back at that like, what the fuck, dude? 14? You couldn't have got it together by 8. You know what I mean? 8 would have been long. 14.
It's like a
Jesus.
genetic thing.
I was scared of life. My dad moved so much and didn't pay attention to me. My mom had ADD herself, like a mofo. She's on the next level from me. And so I was all feral, especially I didn't have no brother or sister till I was 5.
Than I should have.
You did?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I had nightmares since I was like a baby. And
Whoa.
So I still have nightmares, night terrors.
Nightmares?
I don't sleep well at all.
All right, let's go on the metaphysical, like on a different level. Say you have a kid. Do you think that those nightmares that you had, are they nurture in nature or are they nature in nature? In other words, have they been those fears of like all of a sudden your dad's decide to show you Friday the 13th and you're like 8 months old and you're like, what? And look at that. I'd do that to your mom if she
watching
does.
Scary movies when I was younger, and I shouldn't have, for sure.
Right. That could be it. That could be it.
But there was also, just stuff that I grew up with that I shouldn't have seen. Maybe,
Right.
as a
So that's
child.
where the show comes from. Those, or I mean, if the show's been going on before you were born.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you could do a whole segment where you go back 100 years and they're the same people just in a tent. You know, they're just doing the same exact thing with just something different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been going on and it's born into you. And like, once again, you soaked it in and you escaped from it mentally and culturally, which was through what you said, help of others, and also, I would argue, moving to a new area of different
Well,
thought.
you know, when I was in high school, uh, my brother basically got in trouble for selling weed.
Oh, you did?
and and he got in trouble and he got kicked off the basketball team. And we used to go to this particular church that everyone kind of went to where we grew. We grew up in a very small town, and the church kicked him out. And
For what? Specifically selling weed?
they kicked him out because they didn't agree with his behavior. And at that time, they said you can still come. And I said, well, why would I want to come here if when you guys are supposed to be there the most to help someone,
Oh,
you kick them out?
the moment they have a problem, it's the old pull yourself up by your bootstraps thinking, which there's no such thing. It would be like a cartoon, somebody lifting themselves up into the air just magically. We can't do that. And so that's that kind of thinking. My argument is there's always got to be balance. So you balance that kind of thinking with reality. And then you put that, you can use a sternness, but at least keep it at least 51% in reality, what decision that you're making. I think that might be key to picking the wisest thing first. If it's over 51%, just go with it.
True, unless you're bad at math. No.
But you'll feel. But once again, you're using your use your power, Luke.
Yeah.
Feel it. Feel
Yeah.
the 51%.
Yeah. But
This
that I mean,
thought.
just that was one of the pivotal moments in life that I was like, I'm leaving here. I'm not staying in this city. As soon as I graduate, I'm out.
So the mind breaker for you happens to your brother, who you are close in age to, and you love him very much because he's your brother.
But we were all we had at that moment.
Exactly, but
After that
still.
happened, even though I could have just turned and been like, "You ruined my life," it was more so I saw what friends turned against me and what they couldn't be seen with me because I was a bad name, kind of thing. And
Oh no, that sucks.
and so you realize who your real friends are and whatnot. And he was my best friend. You know what I mean? We had each other through all of it, which that brought us actually together where it could have probably done the opposite.
Do you think if those friends who disrespected you and their thinking way back when could be in the now and get back in the time machine, that they would do the same exact thing to you?
I do.
Is that how deep they are in and just staying stagnant and conserving thought? Because it's safe
still
there.
they think the same way now.
It's because it's safe there. It's safer to think of you how you were at that moment then than it is to see any kind of evolution of you, because they look and they see visually the same things are coming into their eyes, so it's tricking their brain saying this is the same exact person, but you might be fundamentally, your aura color may have totally shifted from a dark purple to a nice green. You know what I mean? And they don't want to know it. They might sense it, but they don't. They just laser beam right through it and close their minds like the horses. What about that one thing? Remember that one time that you one day, remember 20 years ago? I will never forget it. And then I was sleeping and there she was walking willy-nilly 3:30 in the morning. No human should be waking and walking at this time. But then at the stroke of whatever the lore is that...
Well, it showed me a real reason why people turn away from organized religion. And I could say, I say like I believe in God and I believe in higher power, and I could say like I believe that all religions are really talking about the same thing and they just can't agree. Um, and they're supposed to be forgiving and supposed
Yeah.
to help you, and in which ultimately in that instance didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see where people would completely turn away from all of it, just based on how they grew up or what happened to them during that time.
So,
Um,
damn girl, going on what you're saying, do you think it's possible? And what immediately goes to me, I don't know the Bible very well. I wasn't raised on the Bible. My parents didn't have sit in a church. Oh my God, my mom ADD, and then me ADD kid is going to sit in a church.
My dad did not sit in church either.
Holy F. So in one way, Mother Nature gave me the get out of church card. And so yeah, that never happened. So I just figure shit out on my own. I mean, I figured out osmosis. And then looking I was searching every mountain, and then going across the desert.
Yeah,
Ships
and again,
on the sea.
If you're true, if they say like if you're a true Christian, whatnot, you should just accept people and accept how things are. But they don't. They think that
Right. They're thinking.
It's only one way. They're thinking one way.
But fundamentally, if we can be really honest and just cut through the bullshit of this stuff, they're not right.
I don't
on
agree
the
with
scheme
it either.
of things.
Yeah.
I mean, there are rightness in the stuff and the thoughts and the murder everyone. There's I can see where you're going there, but you're not putting in all the homework that went to how it got to the thing. You're not factoring in that math. And so when you got that.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think all of the religions are saying the same thing, and they're all just wanting you to live like a good person.
Right, that's to them. You do what we say, and you are a good person. Do what this thing says, and you are a good person. Do what exactly I said on Friday, but not what I said on Sunday, and you will be pretty good. It's that kind of sheep thing that we have as humans. So,
but if they are who they say they are, then they wouldn't judge and they wouldn't treat you like that.
Well, when I was getting to the Bible and what little I know, I do know that the Bible does have the list of the 7 deadly sins.
Right.
And I
think it's more of a rule book.
I think we all kind of live in it. I think in the majority, people live in those. It's bigger and smaller for every individual. But as a human being, you basically have a good, decent, good, action side, picking the wise choice. And then there's another part of your brain that just says, fun. It's going to be good. All right, I'm bored. Let's go. Come on. It doesn't matter. I just steal something? Oopsie. I shouldn't have, but it was, whatever. Hey, let's go. Bad decision, or at least those thoughts. And so you have that evil and good, and it's like wrestling in your head, and you just got to, find the balance and then keep control as a society. And, fuck, dude, there's so many things going on in the world, and getting back to what you went through. So getting back, how does it manifest itself? Was it a doctor or was it? I'm sorry to get to this, but I'm sorry. It's just.
Which part?
So when you how do you find out? How do you find out? Like I had a sore on my ear, and I left it there for 12 months, and then I went to the dermatologist and he's like, dude, you should have been here 7 months ago.
Oh, are you
now we
talking
gotta
about
cut your
cancer?
ear. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know I'm in my brain.
I wasn't sure.
I see you so much. I'm forgetting your I don't know. I apologize for that. So anyways, the worst subject in the world. Could we get into your exact, I'm sorry, I apologize. But yeah, I'm interested in is, in other words, were you sick first? Did you feel just off, or was it a thing?
I did for a long time, and I went to doctors.
How does that manifest? How does that offness manifest itself? Is it slow? Is it like colds, or are you having the cold sweats?
Clammy. I felt kind of clammy after I worked out.
Oh, so it's in your pores.
It was very weird to me because I was like, I shouldn't feel like this.
Oh, so you have a coldness going on. In other words, the blood flow isn't going as perfect as it could be going to all your digits and whatnot.
And I kept going to the doctors, and I was like, test me, see what's going on in my blood, whatever. This went on for a long time, maybe about a year. And,
what's the hard sell when you go, hey, doc, what's wrong? What's wrong? I'm clammy. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's emergency room. What are you doing there? You're clammy.
Yeah. I feel well. I'm really
you shouldn't
tired.
go to the emergency room first. You should make an appointment and go see a guy. They had to turn away everybody who's clammy at that place.
Yeah.
Shit.
But then ultimately I
God dang it, Shy.
Yeah, there was a
fucking year
that I found. Mm-hmm.
If they would have gotten right to business, they could have found it a year earlier. True? Like, let's just get to business just because, sure, it costs a lot, but insurance, everybody loves it. Let's do it. And then jing jang. And they could have.
They don't like to do that, though. They don't like to do tests, and they don't like to,
capitalist
and they don't
society,
listen to you, a lot of doctors.
Capitalist society is all where there's rules made by people that are lawyers who can say things that doesn't look bad, but it is. And that's what the rules they follow in order to stay alive, because hospitals need income just as anybody. They're having the hardest times right now in this day and age, even though everybody's going to the hospital.
Yeah, but they don't have insurance. Yeah,
I know, it's terrible. So those things are going down. So shit, man, you're clammy for a year, and you keep getting clammier and clammier.
Well, too, I noticed my hair was thinning a little.
Ooh.
And I don't know if that had anything to do with it. It's definitely not continued to.
Were you using like a Kmart shampoo? The Kmart was going out of business, and you bought a case of it or something? You just started?
Yeah. No, I was using good shampoo. Pretty decent. And I was like, I feel like my hair looks different. And I went to a doctor for that, and he's like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
Well,
as an actress, that's your canvas.
Wrong.
Your canvas is changing without you purposefully doing it. Yeah. I can make my hair look thin on my own. Don't you do it. Whatever hell's happening to me. Come on, hair follicles. Let's get going. You know? So now your hair follicles are reacting. So wonder what it is. Is it like little pieces of cancer are coming out through your blood, or do you think it's just like a little emergency signals are ringing out and they're just coming out as clamminess and your hair's thinning? So it's not really like.
Well, I don't know. I know that I react differently to things. A lot of things. Like if I had allergies, it took them 2 years to figure it out because I was nauseous and I was really sick, and ultimately I was going to the Children's Hospital for 2 years before they were like, you just have really bad allergies that are draining into your stomach.
You're different.
So there's different people experience the different
doctors
symptoms.
You're not the usual. So when the doctor sees what they have, they go, I know what this is. And they go, oh, no, you don't, doc. It's the opposite thing. Oh, man. Come on back later and see if you can answer the next question. And you keep getting sent away. Then you finally, with the hair,
I
and you're
almost
like,
got sent away, too.
These guys.
Well, I found a lump, and
6 months in, 7, 8, 9 months in.
No,
did you find it
right around the year mark or so, and I found a lump, and I was like, oh my god!
So as soon as that you just basically shitting yourself mentally, going, oh, it's the fucking thing that I was. Oh no, I'm the doctor now. I know. Oh god. Oh no, going too far in the future. This is not good. And then you're out, and then they do it, and they say this is not good. Because
they actually said it looks like it could be okay.
Oh.
You can do a biopsy if you want.
What's that?
I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, you could do a biopsy if you want. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. And I did, and it was cancer.
A biopsy. Is that where they put your boob in like one of those ham slicer things, and they get to a certain point?
They put the needle in, and then they pull the stuff out.
Oh my god!
The actual lump.
No, I apologize. Why would they do that? What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Oh,
but from the ultrasound and the mammogram and whatnot,
so they have to go in there and they pull out the cancer cells themselves. They're fishing basically. They catch a line. They go and they look under a microscope and they go, whoa, number 2, step 2. It's.
Yeah.
Pictures.
And even during the biopsy, he's like, yeah, we got all the stuff out.
Oh,
and
shit.
but I don't think it was cancer. And then they sent it in. came back positive, and so that was in the middle. Like we were pitching the show the first season, and basically it kind of went to a halt because I for a little while
because it's taking up like 9% of your brain.
Yeah,
you only got 2% left. For a show, you need at least like 8-9% of your brain. Is that true? Especially if you're director and writer, you need like 10 almost, right? If you're running at 14, you barely got any brain left.
Ultimately, at that time, we weren't shooting anymore, and I did have a co-director the first season, but we weren't shooting. We were just in the middle of trying to pitch, and get it seen,
exactly,
and we kind of lost traction with that because I wasn't able to.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, then surgery, and they found that it had spread a little bit into the lymph nodes and things like that. But ultimately, they think they got all the cancer out, but I'm still going through testing.
Right. Yeah, because you can never, because it just happened in the first place. So there's always, even just in the psychological realm in your brain, it's a PTSD. It's like this has happened and it is possible. And so therefore, watch out.
Well, it's also too, like, they tested me recently for something, and the result was high. Like the blood count was high.
Another sign.
Yeah. And they wouldn't have tested me for that except, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. And so they tested everything, and that came back high, which could have pointed to something wrong with the baby or something wrong with me. Oh. And the baby's fine, but they are wondering if maybe there's cancer somewhere else. So that's what they're testing now. But
God.
Yeah.
Nah. Oh no. How are you doing this? How are you able to even talk to me with all my hijinks and even stay here without have gotten off like an hour ago? How is this happening? How are you so capable of? God dang, girl. God dang.
I really and truly have mastered detachment. And
right.
I'm able to just...
You're able to compartmentalize? You are able to, of course. Because you couldn't write and direct and star if you couldn't compartmentalize those activities. If you're kind of like me, I do compartmentalize, but sometimes that shit bleeds over just because ADD. And that's where it fucks me up. So I'm getting one thing pouring over and like, no, you're in your separate thing. I shouldn't be thinking of you while I'm thinking of this other thing. So you can be a director, but I'm writing also now too, and cut. All right. So right, that is a good thing that your brain has, because I think the way I have to blame the chemical way that our brains are. Testosterone, the way it turns into weirdly, testosterone turns into what you guys got the chemical
progesterone.
No, the other one.
Progesterone?
Starts with an O? Estrogen. Yeah, it was an E. Yeah, estrogen. So it turns into estrogen, and there's kind of a bed of this kind of testosterone flipped estrogen. And then you guys have a bit of testosterone up there with, different type of, or a different level. So in other words, your chemical levels are like that. And what it does is when your brain is growing from that little 2, 4 cells, 8, 10, 20, 20 billion, it gets there. 9 months, that's all. Once it gets to that point, right, there's a certain pattern that it usually goes for. Not always the same, because there's 7 billion people? Every color of the rainbow of different thinking is out there. But as a generality between the male and female testosterone and estrogen thing, your brains are, your brains, sorry about that. The majority of brains in the female have a elasticity to it, a very spaghetti, like all connections to it, whereas most men are very compartmentalized. And it's not every brain is like that. And why you have kind of that compartmentalized brain, it gives you that ability to use the superpowers of a compartmentalized brain and do directing and do writing and do acting and do producing and do calling people and do press and do dealing with cancer and do making phone calls and so you were still working while you're going through all this stuff. So are you pouring yourself mentally into the work in a way to try and escape that, like, oh, fuck reality, man, or the future?
It definitely helps, to do that. And then when we're done filming, though, you have this depressing, like, oh man, we're done.
Right.
Now it gets to the editing and the this
right.
and that, and it's a total different part of your
Right.
brain. But it's working on it definitely does take my mind off of what's actually going on.
Yeah, the actual sex part of all the things that you do is the acting part, for at least for me too, because being a person that goes on stage, it's that elation, and then after that, or even like right now, this part for me of the day, of the week, is like, awesome, I'm talking to Shy. What? And I didn't even have any thought that I would be talking to you before I talked with Billy, and then I chose to look at your YouTube stuff, and I was like, what? He said she would talk to me, really? This? And so then I got, woke to you, and that's how this is even happening. So, and it's just, it's those little things. I'm sorry, I'm losing myself. Anyways, cheers to you, Shy, for doing that, for being able to compartmentalize and utilize that ability to be all that you are. It's a big thing to be a director. So I would imagine that you have quite a bit of self-confidence too, don't you? Where does that come from? Where are you getting your self-confidence from? Was it your mom, grandma?
I think my mom and my dad, well, my mom mainly, but I was in sports all growing up, and I think that helped.
Dad-driven? Did Dad sort of drive you in that direction? Because that is generally a guide thing. Or were you just driven naturally? Because you have a compartmentalized brain, and you had sports brains too. That's full of compartments out there.
I started gymnastics, I think, when I was 3, but I could swim before I could swim before I could walk. So swimming and diving and gymnastics and dance. And
wow.
I was doing that all growing up. And then of course when I got older, cheerleading as well. But that's very Southern, of course. If you're a sports person, you're probably either football or cheerleading.
On a human level, though, I argue, because our bodies are that one thing that they're at their peak in those years, and you're learning things and muscle memory and all that kind of stuff. And what you're doing is you're basically on human peak of life activity thing that we should be doing. Because, back in the past, people would be hunting, they'd be running. We have to swim in the coldness of the water, and then when the sun riseth, you kill the saber-tooth. We were all doing all that. But you're in a way that our modern society has been able to morph all those activities into baseball, basketball, swimming, skidding, and all that, and then get trophies for that.
Well, we did have a garden too, so we used to work in the garden a little bit, but my dad grew all of our vegetables, so we did that as well.
Interesting.
And we would have to pick a whole bucket of peas or butter beans or something before we went swimming.
Wow.
Or that kind of thing.
That is some down to earth shit. I wish I had some of that. That's called
now.
a foundation.
I want
right
it
there.
now.
You got a goddamn foundation. What the hell is that? I was playing by myself while my mom was out painting a scene in the backyard for 4 days. She would
I was
do
fighting
one,
with
rip
my
it up.
brother.
My mom had ADD, and she had low self-esteem, so she would do the same painting and hate what she had just done, rip it up and do the same thing again, and then rip that up 5 times. She was really frustrated back then. There wasn't much outlets for moms back in the 1960s raising a ADHD kid. So, anyways, that was the shit. So it's all fucked up in certain ways.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for marveling at you like that, but once again, I get fantasy and that's awesome ability that you have, and you're utilizing it in those certain ways. Because once again, the reason I also marvel, I didn't have that experience. So you being shy, I was actually shy, and shy people don't go play baseball. I got forced on a team called the Lakers when I was in Spain. I was in 4th grade, and they just because I had a growth spurt, the coach just said called my parents. So next thing you know, I got to go play for a group called the Lakers in Torrejon Air Force Base in 1974. And I'm like, geez. And so we practice, and we're practicing, and I'm terrible because I'm so growth spurt, uncoordinated. The nerves from my brain didn't get all the way to my hand. It took about a second to get there. My hand needs to
Oh
move
yeah,
now.
I remember my growth spurt.
A lot of balls to the face, and my main thing was So, anyways, we go to our first game, then we come out of the locker room, then all of a sudden there's real people here, and there's a loud fucking echo sound, and the buzzer goes like your ears are burning. Like, why is it so loud? And everything's loud, and the floor's shiny, and the bright lights, and people are yelling things. So, anyways, I go out there, and I'm on the bench at first because coach knows I suck. But people are starting in the audience go, what about the tall guy? What about the tall guy? And then suddenly someone comes down to ask the coach, and then the coach looks at me and they points to and they're like. So, anyways, I was the tallest kid in that grade. I was a real growth spurt. I was cruising. And these kids were shorties. So, anyways, I go out there, and right away, bell. I'm like, fuck. I peed the bed the night before, just double. And so then I'm out there, and I get the ball. So the first thing I do, I hot potato that bitch like a motherfucker. I just throw it. So I get the ball, in the audience, they're all waiting. They can't wait. They think I'm gonna. This was before Jordan, but I think they were gonna think I was gonna turn into Jordan, and they started cheering like, yeah. And then I get the ball again. Yeah. Why you did? Yeah. So then they were like, hey, come on, keep it, drive to the basket. So I kept the ball. So then I tried to bounce it because I'm still too far from the basket, and I didn't want to heave-ho at half court. So I bounce it twice, hits my fucking foot, flies out. Everybody's like, at first I start dribbling. Oh, he's going for it. Ah! And then, what the fuck? And you're like, and then he sucks. And so then finally the coach just put me under the basket. He says, you just get the ball, you do layup. You remember layups? You can do layup, you right down, just jump a little bit. So then the coach called time in, so I go. God damn, if I didn't miss the first 2 layups, and that place was about to kill me, and I only did the 3rd layup in order to save my life to get out of there. The way they were reacting when I missed that basket, I was so scared, and I think I did it on purpose. I just my limbs I hit the bonk, and like, oh shit. It was so bad, and they were really I was so scared that people were gonna beat me up in the parking lot that I made the 3rd basket. I was just praying to the Lord I could hit the backboard. If I hit it right on the square there, and I'd go right square, right square. So I was doing that, and I got it. Yeah. Oh, okay, fine. Man, end of game, we lost by like 40 points.
Oh
no! So it was, and I never
was your basketball career.
Never played sports after that, ever. And that was in 4th grade. That was the end of it. The beginning and the end of all sportsmen's activities.
Well, I always said I wasn't very good at ball sports, which is always a joke. Shit. But I wasn't very good
Girl,
at
you're so salty.
Basketball. I did try to play softball, but the umpire caught more balls than I did, and I was the catcher. So.
Damn.
That was terrible. Terrible.
Sure, well, you're not great at everything. I mean, like that'd be too much. You're not the Yngwie Malmsteen of all sports. Does that even work? Oh well. Anyway, you know who Yngwie Malmsteen is? You ask your husband. He'll know who that is. That's an old fella from the old country. We all know each other. Yngwie Malmsteen. Just tell him. The Grand Wizard, Yngwie Malmsteen.
Okay.
He'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Let me just tell you this, Shy. I am very, 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 very proud of you. I guess it's probably not even the best word for it, proud.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
But I'm just very. it gives me a kind of the life, dude. It's always ups and downs, and sometimes the downs are downs, and ups, and God dang it, you're there. You know, you're not checking out. You're not gun to the head. You're not taking too much the heroin or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that are hurt so bad, and there's no way out, and they don't have any, and it's sad, and dang it, and it's scary because you have that part of your brain that goes, it's so easy to kill you. You know what I mean? One thing that just zippity dip, like get done.
Most definitely.
You doing that stuff, and I'm sorry to lay so much on you, but it's just cool. It's cool that you're married to a dude that I knew. Right?
A great dude, yes.
Look at you.
Very talented.
You're doing good.
And I feel like a lot of this health stuff lands a little bit more difficult for him.
Absolutely.
He doesn't put it.
It's always
away.
easier for us who are going through it to because we know the truth of it, whereas for somebody else's eyes, ultimately, really deepest down, they're seeing the potential loss of all things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My whole way of existing, waking up and smelling and hearing in my ears and saying things out of my mouth and mind geared towards an imagery is going to be that thing that is definitely for everybody, because that's just the way God designed it. We've got to put a timer on it, and then that's it. But in that moment, I mean, you're so alive and just, you know what I mean? You're both physically being challenged, mentally challenged, all the environment, the people that you have under you, who, if you're keeping going, they've got jobs or things to do and that they love too. And so you've got a lot of things going on, and you're just, I guess, what do they call that, good human being? You're just being a good human being in times of trouble. And that's why I really was excited to talk to you, just because of the life experience you're having.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and I have bad days for sure. And then
Absolutely.
I even say, like, to myself, oh, okay, you need to write a third season, and I just haven't gotten into it.
Right.
And I haven't sat down to do it. And ultimately, a lot of it boils down to, like, can you produce another one? Can you do another one on your own? And you know, the last one we did, like, the actors all worked for free, and they all did it during quarantine. So it's kind of hard to say.
That's what you can't do. You can't let your brain go to there. You have to just get to the writing part right now. And what you do is you write it so fucking good that they're going to want to do it for free. They're going to want to make whatever accommodations they're going to have to. In other words, just you focus that, you hyper focus on that thing, since you do have ADD, and you hyper focus on that. And also keeping the balance of being healthy and sleeping right and doing all the
I think too it's difficult
because
I don't know. I'm trying to decide which way to write it, quarantine style or regular. And if we did it with where we were shooting in person on set and whatnot, then we definitely, I definitely would need more.
What about hybrid? Write it totally fucking hybrid. In other words, write it both. Have moments where it needs be, and then you can also make interesting whatever out of it. Don't have to be overt, but also make it not like that in a safe way. Of course, I'm not saying people making out with you. I'm talking about in a way that's creative. In other words, you can think creatively a way that somebody doesn't have to wear a mask other than them just talking into the screen. You can do, there's other things that can be done. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's not only that, though.
There can be a beach party with petitions, and everybody's doing something. You can have fun with that, whatever that might be. But you find that balance. In other words, that will give you enough creative either way. Because sometimes you can take something that would be, if you were writing it as if it was a like everything was normal. You can always convert that sometimes and then go, oh shit, I didn't even realize I could maybe put this angle on that moment, and then create a really, just a dynamic, memorable scene that potentially is true and is true to itself, but also unique and creative. So you got to get the creative bone going. So how are you going to do that? Is that meditation?
Well, it's more so too like I got to think logically about financing and money, and if people have
Shit.
to come in person at some
Right.
point, then
It's
you
so
have to
fucked up.
fly people places, uh, and I'm not
Fuck.
because I'm dealing with the health stuff that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
I'm not able to do that right now.
Shit.
Like,
So then what are you doing then to kind of scratch that itch otherwise? Like,
well,
how's
we're
it
still
manifesting?
editing. It's ultimately like I'm still dealing with the edit for
So
this
you're finding the
season.
joy in editing.
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to that every day and you're like, yes, awesome.
I like seeing it come together.
Good.
It's
Good.
it's definitely like you see it come together and you're like, wait, that's not how I. Yeah, well, let's
Right.
change this and because you do kind of write a movie in 3 steps and or a
Absolutely.
show, and so
Yeah.
this is the third step.
Right.
But
You have-
yeah, I can't. My mind sometimes just jumps to like, okay, you should be working on the
Right.
next one, and
That's
I
that
haven't.
ADD thing. We're going box to box. So if you can ever possibly do this, what you need to do is you need to do a time schedule and you need to force it. In other words, you need to take a carve out, whether it be 30 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever you need to do. And then you do a mood setter. In other words, you put on a piece of music. You do something that clicks your mind into a Pavlov's dog thing where you go, I'm about to be creative now, or I'm making this moment to be creative. I just took a shower and a bubble bath, and that's my moment where I at least spend 10 minutes, whatever that might be. And then you open up that creative box of writing, and then you write that. And then at another part of the day, you go, how am I going to finance things? And you just open up that part of your mind, and you take those little moments, but you make sure that you do some kind of ritual or thing to, cling the bell and go on to the next thing that you need to be focused on and not worried about. And don't let that thing eat you up. You can come back to it, and it's not an emergency. And you know what I mean? But you have to almost write that shit down. And the problem with having ADD is that we don't want to write shit down because we're never going to look at it again. I'll write it down, sure. But am I going to look back at it? I don't think so. It's going to be there for 40 years. And Indiana
And the
Jones
problem
will
is
find
you
it.
make like notes for things, and then you don't know where you put
Fuck.
the notes.
No, it's
So I have
terrible.
so many notes. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just put in notes on my computer, and all this stuff comes up, and I'm like, why isn't this all in the same place?
Fuck. It's like we need a secretary, truly. I mean, we
Yeah.
really need a secretary. I mean, we could try and have as many tricks as we can to do the right thing, but ultimately, you need somebody, maybe a little bit of life coach there, just a little bit going, hey, come on, man. You don't need to, all right, calm down.
Just organize my stuff.
You've been staring at a wall for 3 hours now. Time to stop thinking about whatever you're thinking about because it's giving you a pretty sour look on your face.
Yeah, true.
And you gotta recognize that. But you're using your wisdom and your life experience to recognize those things. See, that's the key. If you can recognize the depression and then go, I gotta figure a way out. And that's where I think things like meditation come in handy because you can visualize the future roadblock that you might have and then also create the scenarios that you could actually do to get out of it. So, and then when that thing that's kind of like the thing that you thought about comes up, you already have the wisdom to make that one decision to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
But that, once again, it takes practice, and that's where you need to do meditation
not,
every fucking day at a certain time. It's all that shit.
If you get out of the rhythm, then you have to get yourself back into it.
You start with
Same
episode 1
working
again.
out,
It's absolutely. But you need to at least do something. If you're not working out for a whole 2, 3, 4 days in a row, god dang it, dude, at least get out and walk. At least do a sit-up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's really strange for me since I got sick.
Yes.
Working out has just kind of gone to the wayside, and which is very odd for me.
But it's kind of necessary, true, for healing. If you work out, aren't you really helping your body, honestly?
But not the same as I used to.
That's the hard thing. You're such an athlete, and you were like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. But now, well, I'm not so much, but I can pick up a stick.
It's just, because I had, in the mastectomy, I got nerve damage. So all these nerves are like
really
pain.
Oh, right. What am I thinking? Yeah. I'm asking really, like, aren't you a robot that has no pain? Really? There was pain when they took your boobs? What?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they say it's supposed to be numb, right? But it wasn't.
Numb?
Nothing was numb.
Oh, my
Nothing
God.
was numb.
Jeez.
So I feel everything hypersensitive. So
Yeah, that's another aspect of ADHD. We generally, not every ADHD, there's a spectrum, it's a rainbow, but we have this kind of sensationary thing. Some of us like really just want to wear comfortable clothes or no underwear. Well, I gotta take a shower every night or else I'll be, whatever. But we all have our little things to keep our bodies all the ritual, to keep our comfort. So the ADDs, we're very sensation oriented a lot of times. So generally, you maybe not, but so there's that thing, and so then once again, you react differently to certain illnesses, and also you reacted differently, or at least to what the myth is that there's no pain and everything's numb. I'm sure that's a fucking myth.
Well, no. I mean, from most women who I know, who I've talked to, they don't feel it.
Really? That's a true thing. Wow.
Yeah, they cut the nerves, and then you lose feeling. But for mine, it was like they damaged the nerves.
Oh, shit.
So I feel everything.
Your nerves like deep roots. They didn't go deep enough. Is that true?
I don't know. I was supposed to have a procedure in Texas, and that's why we were in New Orleans. But then when I got pregnant, and COVID kept pushing it, so we ended up not doing that. But I'm supposed to have a procedure on the nerves like next year.
So let me really absorb this, because I wasn't there when it was said first. Right at this very moment, you have there's a human inside you.
Yes.
At this very moment, as I'm talking, so it's not you. I'm talking with two people, technically.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking with little Watson.
Wow. Wow.
and me. Mm-hmm.
What a combo! And whoa, wow! You are like you're like a rocket ship. And you're the tip going into outer space as far as humanity. The things that you're doing. I mean, like whoa. And then what?
Yeah,
so you got to watch out. Healthy, everything. So you can be so purposeful. I understand why you don't have much time to do anything, because god dang, we're only using 14% of our brain if you're lucky.
If
you're lucky, yeah. And so, yeah, because that's the biggest thing. I mean, the ultimate, like the ultimate fear that everybody feels when everybody's itchy and scratchy out in the world, ultimately, is just that fear of the end. Wait a minute, I can't no more of this? And basically what that boils down to is change. There's a big fear of change. Mm-hmm. Some people accept that change and they deal with it, and other people, and it manifests in so many different odd, weird ways with the one half of our good brain and the other half of our evil brain, and what we do and how that pops like a pimple in our psychosis or whatever. Is varied as fucking everything. Like, just who knows how it manifests and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I guess what I'm trying to ultimately say is, you're at full human power, I guess you'd say. If you're like warp 9. You're having a baby, going through what you've gone through, producing a show, directing, writing, all of that stuff.
Yeah, during the shoot, I was so sick every day. And I was like, cancer's back. The cancer's back. It's everywhere.
Oh, and man, that sucks. You thought, oh, no. It was just what a relief.
I was pregnant.
I'm going to have to see the doctor bring you in and say, look, I got some bad news. You're pregnant. No, that's good news.
Yeah. Well, now I can't get tests. I can't get the PET scan that I needed to get.
Oh boy.
So, and
the
procedure got pushed and whatnot. But I think ultimately everything happens for a reason. And
yes. And it kind of does, and it's just how we react to it. So, I mean, everything happens because everything happens. And so, therefore, we have to improv our way. And you have a good mind ready for this improv. Because you're also dealing with, you're dealing in a creative world, which gives you open your creative mind up. And that can help you in the real world because you can use that creativity to think your way out of a box in the real world, so to speak. You know what I mean? So that's why it's you are. I guess I empathize so much because there's aspects I can't even imagine. It's unimaginable because I just can't,
Yeah, because I can't imagine it either.
Don't know. Right, but you're improving your way through it, and with the mind that you have, that your whole life experience has brought you up to this moment right here on this specific podcast thing with me. So this is... Yeah, I'm sorry to fawn over you. Once again, I did watch an hour of you today, and last week I watched it, so you're kind of,
Well, I'm glad you watched it, and...
No, I definitely did. The beef I was going to have it with you. I'm sorry for taking over time. How much? I forgot to even set my stopwatch. But is it all right if we wrap it up in a couple minutes, and then I will give you, like, whatever you want to say, however, whatever. But to... Oh, shit. Oh, right. Your show. So there is one scene I want to scold you about. I want to scold.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Was it Lacey, right? Yeah. I want to scold Lacey. Lacey, dude, your cousin dated a guy she didn't even want to. Now, granted, they did go out with afterwards. True, you were like a matchmaker. Okay, yeah, sure. The world works out in strange and mysterious ways. Sure. But still, she had to basically get this guy's paws off him. You should have been there in the driveway ready to take her in because you knew in the back of your head what's what. And you should have been, or at least been awake and said, well, hey, hi, or texted or something. But
right.
Girl, that was you're not being a good cousin.
You can't account, though, always on a drug addict.
I know. Well, the flip side is you were playing it real, so it's like, okay, well, in the fantasy world, I'd be scolding you, but in the real world, it was totally true because, like, God damn it, you're supposed to be my wingman, man. What the fuck? We smoked pot, and then we went to a party, and sorry, bro. Shit. I mean, yeah, it's fucked up.
Well, I kind of did it. I did it to what I thought would actually happen.
Have you had anybody ever let you down in such a way where you were put in a vulnerable position in your life and then somebody should have been at least a little more there for you or at least believed you when you said something?
Yeah. For sure. And it, ultimately, I forgive people who aren't there, and because that's just it's human nature and it happens and whatever, and I don't think that people are trying to be bad or anything when that happens. It's just they're not seeing from the other person's point of view, so they're not taking into account that situation. They're only really thinking about what they're going through at that moment.
Right. I mean,
they're in like a bubble.
I mean, if anybody had an excuse to be selfish, that's you. You should be the most selfish person on the planet. What you're dealing and going through, you're just like, but you're not. But I mean, what other right? I mean, what other medal? You can be selfish because of pregnancy medal. All right, good. And your double selfishness because of salute you, lady, and then all that stuff and all your. But yeah, you're just a good human. That's why I was so excited to talk to you. And I'm sorry I was acting weird here and there. Like I got
I'm glad you invited me on.
Over nervous. I'm over talking.
No.
But strike that low self-esteem stuff that I'm pouring out of me right now. I very happy for you and awesome. And yes, that's what I want to end this with because Shy. So I saw you doing stuff. You did Bigfoot County. You did.
We did.
You did. Oh, there's a movie that has yet to come out. It's what, Love and Something Like It.
Oh yeah,
Is that ever coming
that
out?
one's it's not finished. Yeah, it's not finished. But I mean, the director and the writer and whatnot. I've stayed in touch with him.
Good. All right. Cool. Yeah, I won't ask you to give me any spoilers. We'll wait. We'll wait. Let them get their act together.
Yeah, I mean, things just get pushed around,
Yeah.
and the end of the shoot and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it happens.
So, on one of the last questions, I just ultimately wanted to also know what made you make that turn where you're going to go, okay, I'm going to do my own show. I'm going to Seinfeld this thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? When you get that moment, you're like, all right, fuck it. I'm not just going to go to auditions and I want to hope. Oh, come on. And
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're an actor, it's always in someone else's hands, whether or not you are going to get the job or you're going to work. And a
Right.
lot of it has to do with who you know or that kind of thing. And I finally was just like, I had a roommate in Georgia, and we had been talking about I wanted to do something ourselves and put it out ourselves so that
Yep.
we were at least working. And then that particular roommate, we had different ideas about it. So and then we didn't, and then I ended up with another roommate, and she totally was like, she dug it, she dug the idea. And so we wanted basically to get our work out there so that we just felt creative, and we felt like we were doing what we wanted to do, other than auditions or the occasional day player on a show or
so
something.
it was progressive. It was a progressive thing. And you just happened to land a kind of that luck thing with that other person who was able to inspire your brain and give it enough confidence to go, I'm going to put my name on this thing and let's go.
Yeah, and my sister-in-law and at the time, they wanted to do a reality show, and I was against it.
Like the
I was like,
Osbournes or some shit.
No,
The Pilgreens.
no.
Come on
But
down to the Pilgreens.
so I said, let me write something. Let me do scripted
Jeez.
and
Yeah.
see how that goes, and we can go all off the map on scripted, and we don't have to pull back or anything like that. We can just
Yes.
go off
You
the
can
rails
do
and
all the
whatnot.
funny and everything. If you did a documentary, imagine how fucked up your life would be right now if you had a documentary. Like you were actually, got everybody signed with a lawyer, your mom and dad are stars, your brother, all your cousins, everybody. And then
What was
and
funny
they'd be
is
calling you all. When are we going to, come on, we need season 3 out of here, come on. I don't care. Get out of
Yeah.
chemo and let's write it.
True, and really, after we made the scripted version of the first season, and I was pitching it, people I were pitching it to, they thought it was reality, and I was like, no,
It's too goddamn real.
it's scripted, and they thought, because of the way I shot it and whatnot, which low budget and that kind of thing,
Sure.
they thought the way that it was put together and everything, it was reality. And I was like, no, that's not my real brother and sister-in-law. And I did put family in it, some family in it, and so I was asked to make a reality version of the trailer, and so
With a real family? How hard? Was that easy or hard?
It was kind of difficult.
Editing, I would
just
imagine.
to get them to focus.
Right.
But other than that, it worked out pretty well. I mean, I had a lot of footage of like the flea market and family life and that kind of stuff, because I had been filming them for a few years before I ever wrote the scripted version. I had a lot of footage.
As a director, how do you utilize your ability to get everybody on their mark in action? Like, is there a thing you do?
A lot of it, I just talk with them about where the character comes from, and then I let them kind of come up with what they want.
All right, so they know the foundation of the character.
Yeah, a lot of them saw videos of the real people beforehand.
And so, like,
I had a lot of videos to show them this is who this person is, and
that's good.
This is how they react in these situations. And during the filming of the first one, we were lucky because we were shooting it at my brother's house, and they were there. And so the character Isla or Robert, who played Mike, could actually go to the source and be like, what would you do in this situation? So that was pretty cool.
Right.
Well.
You know, I do. The only reason I said I was berating you for dissing your cousin in that respect, it's like as just a viewer, I want something in your life to really work. You know what I mean? Whether that would be you're totally in love with your boyfriend and that he's in love with you, like it's just one solid pole that it goes the good life, but you have just one finger in just something that's consistently good and is not taking a turn for the worse because we need likes. I don't know. That's it. Just that touch that because we want to root for you. I want to. You're the number one of the star of show, and so we want.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's. I'm sorry, but I once again I'm getting into my fan mode. Now, hey, the big fan wants to. I want to tell you how to do your thing. I'm not. But I just. Because that. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's just a feeling.
Yeah, all the characters definitely are flawed.
We're all
flawed.
That's the truth of everything.
And Lacey just is just as flawed as everyone else. Maybe from a different aspect. But.
Just as a fan, I just want you to find your pot of gold under the rainbow somewhere, and you just keep to it yourself. Just only spend one gold coin every month, so people won't get wise to it. And, just keep that going for a while. But we just want to, as a fan.
All right.
I just, So I look. Yeah, you know what? You got a lot of challenges coming up, but god damn, dude, look where you're at and dude, you're gonna see life like happening right in front of your eyes. As soon as they're born, here's the funny thing that happens. It's a really good track of time now you're seeing, and you're gonna just seeing how old you're getting all of a sudden. Like, shit, I got a 20-year-old. What the fuck? What are we doing? So. And
then time is so weird now too during COVID. I'm just like, the worst time in the world for this to happen.
Sure.
And with all the unrest and everything that's going on around the world, you're just like, what country am I in, and do I even want to stay here?
Right. So the one main thing with the baby, as a person who I've gone through it, but as also that I love the psychology of the thing. And you were talking about how you had like nightmares when you were a kid, and it might be nurture. Well, the one thing is the baby comes in. The real thing that ultimately you need to secure is to make the baby feel
safe,
loved, cared for, swaddled with emotion, and but also. Balancing it with certain disciplines and consistencies. In other words, cleaning room and showing through the other things that you're the best that you can be, because you got to meditate again. Best you show it to that person. It's going to be at least 7 years. If you can keep it up for 7 years, and then after that, they're set on their own.
Apart.
They're all cleaning their rooms automatically, even no matter what you do and everything. But I'm just saying, you can fall apart, and then you set them on their way. But that's the basic goal. That's what you have. You have to rock and roll for the next 7 years plus, girl. You hear me?
Yep.
You got big responsibility now.
I'll work on it.
It's a big world, and you're still young, and everything has its time, but you are in the midst of it. You're in the cauldron. You're in the fire. The kiln's about to come out, and it's gonna be a baby.
Yeah.
So get ready, girl. You got compartmentalized. You just keep that balance and everything. And I see it in you, and you can do it. And you direct it, and you just apply all those skills to family and life, because there's a third person. You're gonna have to wrangle Billy, because he's a wild man, and you got a baby, and who knows what that baby's gonna be like. It could be docile and brainy, or be a wild man. Could be anything, right? So,
coming from our gene pools.
Yeah, you're about to do some real life improv, and I'm very excited for you. Very excited for you.
Thank you.
And I totally, you're just, I hope any of it comes through, that I'm being sincere, that it's just awesome that you've done and you've come and you're to be admired.
Oh, thank you. I really
So I'm
appreciate
really appreciative that you're creative. I really enjoy that you're doing it. No matter what it is you're doing that thing. You're still owning this MFer. You're making your Rocky. You're writing your stuff. You're directing your stuff. Getting going, and that's awesome. And now you have other things to care about too. So the world, you got many different rivers to travel down. You got a lot of big thoughts. So keep meditating, keep exercising, keep getting good sleep. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, Shy.
All right.
I'm sorry if it's weird. You know it would be kind of weird. Sure.
No, it was great. I enjoyed it.
All right, I don't mean to overwhelm you. It's only our first time meeting. I'm talking to you like we're like cousins or something.
It's better than being completely nonchalant. So.
That's true. So all right. So check it. I could edit that part, but for you. So anything what you want me to say and everything, I'll send you. I sent you my email. So send me in your email like. I don't want to give you a bunch to do, but how you would want it worded, what you would want linked, in the description of the YouTube, so that I want to make it like exactly the way you want. Because I am terrible. I'm terrible at promotion and all that stuff. I'm basically doing it for the love of this, but I also want to respect you are on another level of things with me, and I want to give you but long way around. You could just email me what you want me to say. And then otherwise I'll just say the best things I can about you. Just say, oh, she's awesome, like 50, 100 times, and then.
I mean, I can send you like the tagline of the show and the website, and
absolutely,
whatnot, YouTube and all that kind of stuff. Other than that, I mean.
Whatever you. I'm just saying, if you have specific things, I don't want to make you work, but I'm thank you for free of this and just your time and dipping into the madness, I guess. I should call it more just madness. Welcome to madness. I don't know if we found any wisdom, but it was fun talking to you. You look just like you look on YouTube. I'll have to say that. So it's kind of wild.
Oh, well,
you
that's
look
good.
just like you look, and this is almost like YouTube, but Zoom. It's a completely different thing. You should look.
Well, that's how we shot
different.
the second season, through Zoom.
Yeah, that's right. What a challenge, dude. What a challenge. Yep, but find that balance between writing it normal and writing it with what's going on. Find that balance, okay?
All right.
All right, you got a lot of balancing to do, so it's a good thing you was a gymnast way back when. All right?
Way back when, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Shy.
All right, thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. It was great. Thank you so much for having me.
Or at least you can just enjoy that I enjoyed it, if you can be.
I enjoyed it myself.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry
Thank
for
you.
a little bit of weirdness, but once again, I am shy. You are only shy. I am shy.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Shy. All right.
Thank you.
I guess you can turn it off, and I'll text you. I'm probably next week. I'll put it up.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
Whatever you want me to say. You got my email.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank
Thanks.
you so much.
Punch Billy in the nuts for me, will you? We always used to do that.
I did that one time. He didn't like it very much.
But if he knows it's coming from me, he'll accept it. So make sure he's not looking. Hit him in the nuts and go, "This is from Darren," and then he'll just start laughing and laughing and laughing, and then you guys can high five each other, and then he'll send me a text. And that's our thing. So go ahead. I give you permission. Right in the nuts, real hard uppercut. Boom.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. All right, Shy. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
You're the best, and getting better.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Keep a journal. Write these days down, girl. It's very important. Good for the show.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Will do. Bye.
All right, cool. All right, well, that is the show. You could sense it in there, huh? I was like in the midst of stuff and like, oh no, I'm way too high for this thought and I can't even remember what I'm talking about. God dang it. Shy, if you're even to this part. Right, you're the best. It's whatever my thing is. But you, that was Shy. Shy. It's awesome. Shy Pilgreen. She's got a show. I'm going to put it in the description. And I don't know. I'm better now. If I started the show right now, maybe I should just start. No, call her back. No, that wouldn't work. I could end it though. All right, that's Searching for Wisdom. There was a lot of wisdom said. It was like scattershot. Wisdom. You should eat. Go to sleep. Talk to people. Communicate. Not be so stuck in the mode. So a lot of wisdom was out there. So really, you're gonna have to, I think, probably listen to this one again a couple of times to really get all the wisdom. So this one's paid off, where there might not have been that much wisdom in the last 4 of them, but this one, what? We're overwise. I mean, right? This episode, this one right here, I never met Shy before. And I felt good, but it was weird because I watched her on YouTube. I watched her act. I watched the character act. I even watched part of her movie, science fiction. And the Bigfoot one, it's horror. Anyways, it got into my, when you're thinking, I'm going to go talk to this, and then all of a sudden, oh, look at that, they're acting. I wish I could act. I wish I was out there. I should be acting. Why am I not acting? Oh, wait, her. So anyways, that Shy. And Shy and Bri, I'm so, man, I want so much success for her and Billy. What did I say, Brian? Billy. Brian Trainham, I guess I was thinking of. I was in a band. Did I ever tell you I was in a band called Chick Hockey? And I was the jester. What? Oh, musical instrument? No. Puppet and interpretation. What? Oh, not I got fired because, well, the lead guy, the guy who made the band, I was a jester, so it was a little. Even the spotlight guy would just point to me, and they'd be in the dark. It wasn't a good situation. Anyways, we're still friends. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in like 30 years, but we're. From the grapevine, I think I smiled at him once 21 years ago. Anyways, this is Searching for Wisdom within the madness. You've just witnessed a lot of madness. Got your money's worth on that one. Good night.